This is Stacy Vaughn with Selling Topeka Pros, and I want to talk to you today about some of the things you can do before you put your house on the market and or before inspections occur to make both of those things go easier. And first I'm going to talk about some exterior things you can do on the outside of your house, more than just the obvious, keep the yard mowed, keep it picked up, maybe plant a couple of flowers or bushes. But there are some other more important things that you can do too that make your house more attractive and will probably save you some headaches when it comes to inspection time. One of the first things to talk about is windows. Windows need to be able to be operable. In the state of Kansas, windows in a bedroom must be able to be opened, so there can be an escape during a fire or so forth. Also screens. You want to make sure your screens are not ripped or torn or have holes in them, because that's going to be something else that you just don't want to have to deal with. Another thing would be peeling paint. I know a lot of you understand that peeling paint is an issue for VA and FHA loans, but can also be an issue for conventional loans and just buyers in general. If you have a lot of peeling paint on the house, they're not going to want to paint a house when they buy it most generally. So that's something you might want to look at. Another thing you might want to look at is any of cracked caulking. So if you have any caulking around any windows, doors, or any other place that you have some caulking on the outside of the house, if it's cracked and worn, you might want to replace that. Have that taken out and have the caulk replaced, and that makes sure that your house remains watertight, which is also a good thing for a seller to want to know and for a buyer to want to know. Next thing is take a real good critical look at the siding and trim of your house. If you've got siding that's rotted at the bottom or in the sides and or trim that's showing some weather rot and things like that, you might want to get those things replaced prior to putting your house on the market. It'll make your house obviously have a better curb appeal, and it'll also be something that you won't have to deal with after inspections. Decks and fences, again, these types of things, I would power wash, of course, but look for any, broken boards or missing boards or, nails poking out and things like that. Just kind of fix a few of those little things. Another thing that always pretty much gets caught in an inspection is what we call positive drainage. And what you want is soil on the side of your house to drain away from the house. So sometimes people have to put in, soil and stuff next to their house to have that drainage away. And that leads me into gutters. You want to make sure your gutters are clean, and you need to make sure that you have, extensions on those gutters to pull that rainwater away from your house. It shows, obviously that you're concerned about making sure that your basement or your foundation is staying dry and so forth, and you're keeping all that water away from the house, which is a good thing. Next thing I would talk about would be the roof. Now, I'm not saying go out and replace your roof, absolutely not. But maybe look back, check it out, maybe have, your insurance company check it out or somebody check it out to make sure it's in good shape, because it could be a huge expense if it comes to find out that it has a lot of hail damage and so forth and would need to be replaced, which is something that can prevent a buyer from being able to purchase your home. If their insurance company inspects it and will insure it, you might want to know that ahead of time to know that might be an issue, or you may just have a few loose shingles that need to be tacked down. Your air conditioner, make sure that that's been, if it's in the summer, obviously make sure it's running. If it's not, have a professional come out and do an HVAC check of both your air conditioner and your, furnace. Those are very, high dollar issues there that people like to make sure are in good working order. So having those checked out and serviced is always a great idea. And the last thing for exterior that I have on my list is garage door. Those little boxes you have on the side of the garage door that are used to make sure that the garage door doesn't go all the way down if something comes under it. Make sure those are working, both of them. That's something that lots of times the inspectors will catch on and say, hey, this isn't working, and will mark you off for it. So those are just a bunch of little things that you can do to get your house prepped and ready either to put on the market, or if it's on the market, to make sure that it passes an inspection without a lot of hiccups. So if we can ever be of any service, please let us know. Stacy Vaughn with Selling Topeka Pros. Thank you. Goodbye.